How's it going, guys? I hope it is not too windy right now. I actually wasn't really planning on filming out here, but as I was doing a scheduled pasture change, I noticed that I think I have a problem with a calf. The last couple of days, I had noticed that this calf was sort of laying by himself more often than not, and I actually even did get him in and give him a shot of LE200, thinking that if he wasn't feeling good, that might help him out. It's been a couple days later and I can still tell that there's a problem. And what is maybe even a little bit more interesting is the fact that his mother is never anywhere to be found. I know who it is. She's a first calf heifer, but she doesn't seem like a very good mother. And where I've got the cows in this back pasture here, it's kind of tough for me to separate them and try to get them going together. I think what I need to do is drive down there and see if I can catch the calf. If it's pretty easy for me to catch him, I feel pretty confident in saying that he's probably not getting enough to eat. That would explain why he's so lethargic, and it would also kind of jive with the fact that mother is generally not around. But if I can catch the calf, I'm gonna take him up in the corral where I can keep him, and I'm gonna try to give him a bottle. And my hope would be that after separating him from the herd for a couple of days, I'll notice mama coming around looking for him. And if that's the case, then I know that they've mothered up good. But if we never hear anything from her and she's totally fine with the fact that her calf is gone, well, then I guess we know what we got on our hands. What's the deal, little dude?
The calf was able to get up all right, and he definitely didn't want me getting near him. I decided I would sort of follow / direct him back to the main herd and hopefully back to his mother, because I wanted to see how their meeting would look. At this point, I had a strong suspicion that mother probably wasn't doing her job very well, so I wanted to see what would happen once they got back together, if the calf would nurse, if the mom would even acknowledge the calf, or what. After walking through the herd, we finally did find her, and I'll let you guys watch what happened.
Well, that's about as close as they have been. And she does not really, she's kind of looking at the calf. Don't you walk away. You got a job to do, and you ain't doing it. Of course, now she's just more concerned about me than the calf. So the calf don't even seem to know that's his mom, and she don't even seem to know that that's her calf. So after witnessing that little interaction, I think I've got a problem here. Because yeah, they just walked by each other like perfect strangers. You know, it was like she didn't know him, he didn't know her, and it shouldn't be that way. When a calf and a mother are in the same vicinity like that, they should just mother up. That would be normal behavior, and what they showed me was that there's something that's not clicking there. So yeah, I'm gonna have to do something, because I think that calf, you know, he needs to eat, he needs to get some milk in him. He's probably just living off of grass right now, and that's why he's so little and scrawny looking. His belly was a little sunk in, not like he's starving, but you can tell just by looking at him that he's not growing right. So we gotta do something. So I gotta figure out how I'm gonna get him up into the corrals, and that's gonna be kind of a challenge, because it's just me if I had some help, what I would do is I'd drive my tractor out here with the platform on the back, and I'd catch that little calf and I'd hold him on the back while somebody drove me up front to the corral. But I don't have anybody to drive me up there, so even considering considering that idea is kind of a waste, because it ain't gonna happen. So what I'm gonna have to do is go get my rope, which I don't have it with me. I'm gonna have to run back home and get it. I'm gonna have to rope that calf, because even though he's real weak and slow, he's doing all he can just to make sure that I don't get near him. So it's gonna be a little bit difficult to just try to run him down and catch him with just my hands. And I wouldn't want to risk hurting him, you know, because I'd probably have to like tackle him. So we don't want to do that because he's already weak. So if I can get my rope and rope him and just try to get him up to me as fast as I can without, you know, we don't want to prolong that any more than we have to. If I can catch him, you know, he's honestly, he probably weighs 100 and maybe 10-20 pounds. So he's about like a good solid hay bale. That's the way I think of it. That's how much my hay bales weigh. So I know I can pick him up, but the question is, can I hold on to him and keep him under control while he's fighting me, and still all the while drive the side-by-side back up to the corral? This means going through gates. So this could be a real challenge. And you know, I've done this before with smaller calves, and it's really not that big of a deal. So I kind of know how I'll hold him to sort of hopefully make this work. But I don't really know what's going to happen here, but I know that I got to try something, because I'm worried that he may not make it much longer the way we're going. Let me go get my rope and let's get this show on the road. All right, I got my rope. I went ahead and made up a bottle. Now, if you're thinking that it's kind of presumptive to make up a bottle before I've even got the calf caught, well, you're right, it is. But the way I look at this is that I have to catch that calf, and I'm not going to quit until I do. So failure is not a choice here, and knowing that, I think I went ahead and saved myself a few extra steps by making the bottle while I was up at the house. So I'm gonna go ahead and get some of these gates where I want them, so that when I do get the calf back up here, everything will be ready to go. We can hopefully do this really fast. I'll probably end up putting the calf in the squeeze chute, just because I have a feeling that it's gonna fight me when I try to get it to nurse. But once I get that nipple in its mouth and it starts sucking and realizing like, oh hey, this is a good thing, we shouldn't have any problems after that. But it's very difficult to hold the calves and also try to put the bottle in their mouth. I mean, that's hard with newborn calves, so that would be really hard with a calf that is a little bit older. So for now, that's the plan. Just one little hitch. I still got to go catch that thing. This is the gate that I'm going to have to go through to get back up to the corrals. Now, I started thinking about it. It's going to be really difficult to try to open this gate while I've got that calf on my lap. So I think what I'm going to do is just sort of leave her set like that, and that way I don't think any of the cows are going to come up here during this process, but you never know. If they do, they'll just look at that and assume it's closed just like it always is. But I'll know when I come back that I can just sort of nudge that gate with the side-by-side and it should open right up, and I won't have to let go of that calf or get up in any way, and I should be able to just run on up to the corrals, drop it off. Then I'm gonna have to come right back up here and close it, just because I don't want to risk the cows realizing that it's open and taking full advantage. Oh, I thought I was gonna have him. Hey, buddy. Come on, baby. Don't fight. Don't fight. Don't fight it. This is what farming's all about right here. Well, it wasn't exactly pretty, but we did get the calf up here, and once again my roping skills have managed to get the job done and embarrass me at the same time. So but the important thing is that we did get the job done. So I am going to get this calf up in the chute, I think, because he's stronger than I thought. And guys, don't get me wrong, or don't let that fool you. A lot of people might see how able that calf was to fight me and think that if he can fight you that hard, he's got plenty of energy, he must be doing fine. And I can see where you would think that, because he did put up a good fight. But the way he was acting out in the field, we know that that's not normal. Now, these are prey animals, and they've sort of evolved over the last however many years to be able to fight like that, to be able to try to get away from a predator, or in this case, me. So even though he was able to put up a good fight, that still doesn't tell me that he's doing fine or nothing's wrong with him. It's a good indication, don't get me wrong, it's a good indication that he's not too far gone yet. I think he's still savable. I think we just need to get some good nutrition in him and just sort of keep an eye on him. So let's go ahead and do that. Always nice to have a captive audience. How are you guys doing? Is this the most exciting thing you've seen all day? All right, carry on. Now that I got this little guy in the chute, I think the best way to try to do this is to get in the chute with him and sort of back him up all the way to the end, so just like he did, where he put his butt against the butt gate there. And that way, when I try to get the bottle in his mouth, there's really not a whole lot that he can do to get away from me. And I'm hoping once I get that nipple in there that he just starts sucking on it and goes ahead and finishes that whole bottle. But we'll have to see. Because it's an older calf, I won't be surprised if he wants to fight it and resist me trying to do this for him. So we'll just have to try it, and hopefully once we trigger that suckle reflex, he'll just go to town on it, but we'll see. Well, I think that was mildly successful. We got about 3 pints in this calf. We can at least be somewhat sure that nutrition is not going to be his issue here after a couple of days. My hope is that tomorrow morning when I come down here, his mom is just crying her little eyes out looking for this guy, but she sure don't seem to care about him much right now. So I don't have a lot of hope for that happening, but you know, crazier things have happened. So we'll kind of cross our fingers for that. If that does end up happening, then what I'll do is I'll try to get him back out there in the field with her, because the longer that they're separated, the more chance that we could have that they won't get back together. And things are already strained enough between those two. Kind of, it seems like I'm talking about a relationship, not a cow and her calf. But so yeah, that's what I hope I see tomorrow. I don't have a lot of optimism for that, but we'll see. Cross your fingers for this little guy. I really don't know how this one is going to end, but I'll keep you guys updated on the progress of this little calf, good or bad. Hopefully it's all good, but you just never know how these things are going to turn out. Until next time, thanks for hanging out at the ranch with me today, guys, and I hope I'll see you again on Farmer Tyler Ranch.